This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotatonetwork.com.
Watching television, watching television. Watching television, watching television. I need all the image, I need all the sound. I know the info right into my mind.
Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome back to Try by Pilot. This is the show where we judge an entire series of television and the work of hundreds on one episode. I'm Bill Lynch.
I'm Elizabeth Lynch. And with us today again is...
Lauren/Maggie Reed.
And Susan Shaughnessy.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
It's time to watch a terrible, terrible Christmas movie.
Yes.
As we have done for, this is our fourth one.
I was trying to remember that today.
I think it's our fourth
I can't
one.
remember the one in between.
Yeah, I think Naughty and Nice was 4 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
This time we watched The Dog Who Saved Christmas, which is... I don't know who fucking made this movie. Somebody. It's available on Peacock and Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. We watched it on Peacock, I think.
I watched it on Peacock.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think on Amazon Prime it was like money.
I think it's free with I think it's included with prescription. With prescription. I thought it said included, but I watched it on Peacock.
Take 2 doses of Amazon Prime and call me in the morning.
Don't edit that out. That was good.
This is a 2009 film. In my notes I wrote ARO. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. Starring Gary Valentine, who played Kevin James's brother on King of Queens.
And Bill is such
looks
a
just like
Doug
him.
Heffernan.
huge King of Queens fan that we watched this movie just because of that fact.
Well, so obviously they look so much alike, and like I always think like they have to be related, right?
Yeah.
Gary Valentine is his older brother.
Wait, for real?
Yes, Kevin James's older brother.
How are we just finding this out now?
I don't know, but yeah, that's true.
I feel like maybe.
Well,
maybe
Kevin
look
James
of
won,
pride
and he
on-
did pull one mall cop.
The look of pride on Bill's face right now, or like, yeah, giving us this piece of information. Listen, but you know what? Paul Blart Mall Cop has what, like 2,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
There's 2 of them. This, The Dog Who Saved, there's like 6 of them.
6.
Are they all starring Gary Valentine?
Well, are
I
they all
think
the
so.
dog who
No.
saved? Or are
The
they
Dog
like...
Who Saved Christmas, Halloween,
Easter.
East-
I think
whatever,
I saw the Easter
like-
one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, look it up and say if he's in all of them. I think
Do they all have Elisa Donovan?
I hope so she can earn her first dollar in 10 years.
Oh, ouch.
The thing is, this cast,
I took that joke from Clark and Michael. I just like to say it.
yeah, this cast was not the worst cast.
Right.
No, it wasn't.
This movie looked like it was shot on a first generation iPhone.
all right, let's get into it because oh my god, there's so much to say about fucking.
My first note is, what is this font? But I wrote that, and now I don't know what the font was.
Oh, it was like this weird Old English font. You said it was like Old English meets Comic Sans.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a mess, is what it was.
So we meet a dog, Zeus, who is narrated by Mario Lopez. Narrated? A voiceover, I guess?
Voiced by.
You know,
Of course,
they're showing
by
a dog.
Mario Lopez.
Yeah. And the dog is like in this rundown neighborhood, and we hear the dog thinking this out loud, and he turns himself into a dog catcher so he can get some food.
At least he'll get 3 square meals a day.
Yeah. And so then there's a kennel scene where he's talking to like some other dogs that are in there, and like Susan said, the worst fucking production value I have ever seen in any
Ever.
thing.
Anything. Ever.
It was like
I have home movies that look better than that.
it was like an old cell phone was recording that movie.
don't understand.
And
I
where
don't
did they
understand.
have it? Like, was it on, not just in this scene, where I assume it was just on some other dog's collar, And like that's how they were filming it. But like the rest of the time, the camera was like, where was it? Was someone like sitting down like on a scooter and holding it? Like the angles, the camera angles were awful.
They were.
They kept getting Lisa Donovan's butt. And one thing, because they
Unbelievable.
had it propped up like on a table, and she had to cross in front of that, and it's like, just change the shot.
Right,
Just
and
change
all
the
the
shot.
all the like scenery shots. It looked like it was like hidden behind a tree. Like they didn't have clearance to be there.
Wait. They have this.
Like they
I
didn't
don't
have
get
any
it.
permits. So they're just like, well, just set up behind the tree. They won't see you.
Like when they get to the front of the house, like their house, which is this like, for all like
Weird.
a Victorian-looking house. Mm-hmm. They never showed like the full front of the house. It was like they didn't have clearance to film like the neighboring house or something. It
Yeah.
was something
Oh,
weird.
probably,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
anyway.
they said they had just moved in and like fully furnished it with things from the 80s.
and
It
that-
was the craziest house
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
They didn't look like they had just moved in. I think they could have worked
Right.
a little harder to have at least one box.
Well, did you notice that they had plastic all up the steps?
No.
Showing that like they were moving furniture, like the steps were lined in plastic, but literally that's all that suggested they had just moved in.
That was probably because the person that they begged to let them use the house was like, cover my carpet.
Right.
it was an old lady because there were all those like Yadros in that. It wasn't Yadros, but you know, like it was in that china cabinet.
Yeah.
But it's just so weird that they had these actors and actresses in it, and then like they couldn't even afford a regular film camera.
Dean Cain. I mean,
Yeah.
not that he's any big deal.
Well,
but
sure, but like he wasn't free. Like he didn't volunteer to do it, right?
yeah,
You
I
know,
was
like
what is
Right.
going on?
so they
here?
spent some money
Literally
on the cast.
Everyone in it besides those two weirdo kids were people that have
Oh
been
my
in
God.
other decent things.
I've seen that kid in other stuff.
You have?
What else
The
has he
boy.
been
That
in?
kid have another job?
Yeah.
Wait,
All
the
right.
woman, the weird cat lady, Adrienne Barbeau, like she was like. She's been around
What is
for
she
a long
from?
time. Well, she was in Maude, I think. I looked it up because I was like, why
Oh,
is
really?
her name so familiar?
And the woman who played their grandma, I remember seeing her like on MTV teaching an acting class. Like she goes way back to like Chicago improv. Like
She was in
I
Austin
think
and she was in
Powers.
Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like these are not people to really. What's the saying?
Sneeze at?
Sneeze
Yeah.
at?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't
wasn't like the
understand like,
people-
what favor they were doing.
it wasn't
Yeah,
like
but-
Holly
Yeah.
Starr, where we didn't know who any of those people were.
Right. Oh, Holly
Oh
Starr.
my god! I forgot.
But
what
before
it
we
was
even
called.
leave that fucking kennel scene, like there were shots where they were like focus, like you know, you're looking at the dog, but the dog was completely out of focus, and you're like seeing the cages behind the dog in focus. Like it was just so
Right.
fucking inept. Oh my gosh.
I was
So
getting worked up.
Gary Valentine and the girl from Clueless are bringing gifts into their house, and
No,
like
she's decorating the house with her hands completely full and trying to answer a
Oh,
cell
there's
phone.
nothing in her hands, but there is garland all wrapped around her body because she just couldn't handle the fake garland.
And then all of a sudden
Balls.
he's like, I need your help. And then she's like out there with like no sign of any like garland or tinsel on her.
distress.
yeah. So they try to bring in all the gifts at once, and like you know, Gary Valentine falls down a bunch of times. They also left the car trunk open when they were like walking up to the house, but then in the next scene it's closed. But it's like, who cares?
Well, you can
Continuity
see it like
error.
Who
automatically
cares?
go down. You can see it. It had like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I was like, that looks
Fine.
like an old car. To
Fair
have that
enough.
feature.
Fair enough.
Because it was a weird old beat up car. It was just odd, and you could.
Maybe someone was inside going,
Yeah.
pulling
Yeah.
the thing down.
That creepy kid.
You know.
You could tell that he's like the worst husband, and they were making the worst jokes about him being.
well, it was just
terrible
like
partner.
lazy. It was lazy writing. Like,
Yeah.
oh, what's you know.
Then we see
The wife, he said, the wife. The wife.
We have to say though, like after seeing that scene where they're like trying to get the presents up the stairs before the kids get in there and they're all goofy and falling down and throwing them to each other, you know that Kevin James got like the physical comedy talent in the family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Kevin James physical comedies.
Unmatched.
I'm
trying to figure
maybe
out-
Kramer.
Why were they hiding
yeah.
all these gifts? Their kids were not 3 years old. Like, did they not know it was Christmas was coming? And when
They were
exact?
wrapped.
Right, they were all
These are gifts. Don't touch them.
Why are you hiding them upstairs? Put them under the tree. Like,
Right.
I mean, I can understand if
Bizarre.
there was like a Santa Claus like thing going on, but like,
By the time they left, like all the presents were there. So at some point, they put them all down and the jig was up.
Yeah.
So then we see Dean Cain and his partner pull up in a white van, unmarked, and they go, "Oh, we gotta rob this Victorian house." And then Dean Cain goes, "Ka-ching." And then there's like this awkward pause for a second, and he goes, "Ka-ching." Here's my theory. Here's my theory on this scene. The director just told him to say it a couple times and they would pick the best one, and then they just didn't bother cutting it out.
Okay.
And so they just used 2 ka-chings.
That's probably what happened.
Well, when I saw these two guys in the van and they were like having their ridiculous banter, I was like, okay, so I see this is going to be a Home Alone knockoff. Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the
But like really
Yes.
bad.
Some sleazy dude, some like sleazy producer was like, "How can I make a quick buck this holiday season?"
Right.
And he had just watched Look Who's Talking 3, which is the dog talking, and Home Alone. And he's like, "Yeah, just put these 2 together and make something."
Yeah.
Right.
That'll be fine.
Really
Not the
bad.
same timing, yeah.
But one of them's really doofy and he's really a good guy, but and then the other one's like, will you be serious? There's a lot of money to make here.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
don't want to
that
go
whole-
back to
but
jail.
what about these like cheap Christmas decorations on the outside of this house? Makes you think, yes, they were awful. It was all like those like icicle lights, all white. Everything was like white string. There was it was like candy canes and like all these different lights.
This is how these movies decorate for Christmas, and this is what bothers me about it. It's like it's a Christmas movie. It's about the holidays, and they buy everything from the dollar store.
That's what it looks like.
It's awful. I'm like, I just feel like, come on, guys, like invest a little bit more. Have like a like a warehouse or something. One storage unit where you have nice garland.
We could decorate it with the garland we have.
So
The
In labeled
budgets that
bins.
these movies have, it would not be worth it.
True.
yeah. So Gary Valentine, the dad, reads about this robbery down the block, and the kids and he really want a dog, and he's like trying to convince his wife, like, "Oh, we need a guard dog," and the mom's like, "Well, why don't we get a cat instead because of all the mice in the house?" And there's this pair of albino mice just
Sledge
walking.
and, Sledge and Hammer.
Oh my gosh, Sledge
Oh,
and
Sledge and Hammer.
Those were our albino
right,
mice.
Those
Good.
were my mice.
Okay,
Pick
all right.
one.
I'm just
That
trying to
was
fill.
that was a weird cut though.
Those
Oh, it
looked
was
like
so
it
fucking
was
weird.
so
weird.
It looked like a YouTube video that has like a bunch
Yeah.
of weird cut-in clips.
There's literally just a pair of albino mice walking around
and
like
they
on
have
the floor.
they are voiced as well.
Oh yes,
Yes.
we hear them
And
later
like
on, not in the first scene.
Well, they were because I looked to see like in the credits. I noticed it was 2 people with the same last name, so it's probably like somebody's twins.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it was the sleazy producer's kids.
Yeah, probably. Yes, probably.
Oh, I looked up the producer. I'll
But like
find him.
it's the middle of the day and there's just mice walking around on their floor.
And
Yeah.
they don't seem to really mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it was so strange.
So and like the entire family, every time the mom talks, they just like roll their eyes as hard as they can
Yeah,
at
right.
her.
She wasn't bad. She was like, I thought she was pretty nice.
No, I think yeah.
But she says, "Promise me you won't get a dog before we talk again." And he's like, "Okay, I promise." And then he like looks off to the side and like grins, like, "What the fuck is your problem?"
Then he
dude?"
like immediately goes to the pound.
Immediately
Yes,
goes.
yes, he immediately goes to the pound. And in addition to everything else, the sound was so bad. It was
Yeah.
echoey in there.
Oh, and the guy that worked at the pound.
Benny. Yes, I made a note of it. Was a weird interaction with this guy.
Oh my
every
gosh.
single time.
I just wrote like, what a fucking bizarre character. Like
yeah.
like the dialogue, his delivery, everything. I don't know if it was like him or the director or both. It was so strange.
Yeah. It was
And you could barely hear him.
Yes, yes.
You could barely hear him.
Then Gary Valentine's character goes, they're like walking through. He's like trying to pick out a guard dog, and he looks at one and he goes, "That's the splitting image of the dog I had when I was a kid."
the splitting image,
Yes,
right? Yes,
yes.
the splitting image.
I also have splitting image written down.
And he probably paused and he was like, "Oh, should I do that again?" The director's like,
No.
nah, it's fine, it's fine."
Then he goes and picks out Zeus, right?
Who used to be a police dog?
Which, how did he know? Did you
Yes,
tell him?
yes.
Okay, but also hold on, guys. And I don't know a lot about dogs, but Zeus clearly had like nipples, like it had like nursed a litter of puppies. Did anybody else notice that?
Oh my god.
No, like Zeus definitely
But-
had like they were like hangy.
Oh, so she had been irresponsibly bred. Great.
But like they're saying like, oh, this is Zeus, this is a boy
I didn't
dog.
even notice
but
that.
it's
That's
like
amazing.
not. Like
I
this is
didn't
the
notice
first
that at
thing.
all.
I'm
But
like,
also, like,
That's amazing.
But also, I mean, are there any yellow labs that are police dogs?
It might be. I
I have
mean,
no
there might
idea.
be.
oh, wait, we
Okay.
have forgotten to mention one very important thing is that Zeus does not bark.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes,
That's
they keep
This is a
mentioning it. Well, he
huge
doesn't
plot
even
point.
bark.
This is basically the plot
this
of the
is
movie.
the plot of the
Yes.
movie is that
Yeah.
Zeus doesn't bark.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he says Zeus used to be a police dog. He had a plaque. He has a couple awards. And like, he picked him up off the street. He has no tags on.
He turned
Like, what the
himself
fuck?
in. What did he say? Like also like I'm a like
Yeah.
like police
I don't
dog.
understand how this was known. Like,
Oh my God.
there's a police dog like gone wrong. Like after you
Well,
know,
the county animal shelter security officer seemed to have a lot of information on him. This
Well, maybe-
guy.
Yeah, it was weird.
He was like the
weird.
animal shelter sheriff.
Yeah.
That's how they had him dressed.
Yes. So he brings home the dog. The mom is upset, obviously, as you would be.
Your
says,
partner
like-
completely ignores you and the things that you want.
And says, like, you just got this dog to make up for the boyhood trauma of you losing your own dog. You're not worried about protecting the house. And, you know, the dad's like insisting, like, that's not why I got him. That's not why I got him. I want him to be a guard dog. But he knows Zeus doesn't bark. And yeah, and this is where we hear the mice for the first time making fun of Zeus. And then there's like a montage of the family with Zeus. And then, go ahead.
The camera angles of which were from someone lying in the grass.
Yes. Yeah.
I might have
Holding
fallen
up a
asleep during this
phone.
point. I don't
I
remember
wouldn't have
that.
blamed you. This was an incredibly boring movie.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
forgettable. You might have been wide awake and you just might not remember.
Yeah.
I thought I fell asleep later, but I might have fallen asleep at 2 points.
I felt like it had been like that they were using. It seemed like whatever cameras you use for public access television, like at one point, like which I think is like
In like
maybe,
the 90s.
in the, right,
Yes, not now.
like the school, like when we had like our school like channel,
Oh, sure, yeah.
right, like,
And also, it looked like some of the shots looked like it had been wider, and then they just like took the computer and zoomed in. You know, when you like zoom in the actual frame
Yeah.
and the quality goes down even more,
Right,
and
right.
people's like heads are cropped.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It looked like they were like, well, we needed a little closer. That
Oh
they
my
zoomed
God.
in
So
on people's faces.
Yes, so often when characters are talking, it's like super close up and it cuts off like their chin and their
Yeah.
forehead. Like, why the fuck are you framing this like this? Oh my gosh.
I think I need to go back and watch it
Oh,
again.
it was
Don't.
ridiculous.
No, I tried to go back last night to watch it because I told you I thought I fell asleep. I did fall asleep during it, and so last night I was like, I'm gonna see if I can try to get that 15 minutes. I thought I lost 15 minutes. I may not have. It may just have been there was that much of a hole in the plot.
Our levels are out of control because
Yeah.
we're all just like so intense about this movie. So then it's like the middle of the day and we see this masked guy wearing all black with a yellow backpack like sneaking around the house.
The middle of the day.
Yes. Well, that was my reaction too. But then we find out that he's been hired by Gary Valentine's character. Yes.
How much did you see?
I did see this part, but
No.
what is going on here?
Yeah, that was my reaction too. Like, what the fuck? It's like the middle of the day. He pulls out like a raw steak from his backpack, distracts Zeus, and then he like comes inside and yells for Gary Valentine's character. I don't fucking remember his name. Doesn't
George.
matter. George, thank you. And you know they find out like, listen, Zeus isn't going to bark. Maybe he suffered some psychological trauma on the job. This is like what this guy is telling them. And so the mom insists, after Christmas, we need to find an actual watchdog to protect the house, and we're going to return Zeus to the pound.
No, Lucy.
No, he's a very sweet dog.
very sweet dog. So I like I'm not even like a dog person, but like my first reaction is not to like go get a guard dog that I have to like train. It's to like put in a security system. Like,
Right.
I just don't understand that reaction. Like we'll get an actual guard dog.
But
Well,
she
you don't
wanted
like
to-
animals very
But
much,
wait,
as I
she
learned
did
in
want
your
to put in the
last
security
podcast.
system. She said. What?
Sorry, I just made a ton of noise.
No, she said, I really think we need to get that security system. When he said there was the neighbor, I did pay attention in the parts that I did watch. She goes, I really need to get that security system hooked up. And he's like, I just want to get a dog.
Oh yeah.
And then that's why, which,
And I think that those are two separate things.
absolutely they are.
You know?
Right, right.
But later she was like, let's get a guard dog.
Right.
It was so weird.
Which is just weird because I just feel like that is a lot of work. And I think even if someone who does like animals wouldn't necessarily want to get a I'm only saying that because Susan just accused
You
me of
admitted it.
not liking animals, and I do like animals. I don't want a pet.
I don't.
I know.
I'm just saying, like, who wants to train a guard dog? Doesn't that seem like
That's
a
something
big
I would
job?
pay for.
Yeah,
You want it to be like a guard dog?
It's a
I'm
hole.
hiring someone.
But like,
It's a hole in the plot.
Yeah.
One of many.
so the kids are like trying to teach him to bark, and they tell him about like the mean lady across the street who lures dogs in with her stew, and then she calls the pound on them. And so
There's an entire part of this movie that didn't need to be in it.
Weird.
oh yeah.
Yes.
So
They were trying to, like, have it be the guy with the shovel.
Oh, it
in
was-
Home
Yes,
Alone.
it was a total.
they literally
Yes.
just sketched out some plot points from Home Alone, and look who's talking 3,
Yeah.
and then they just combine them.
Yeah.
And so the next morning,
Talking 3.
Zeus knocks over the giant gingerbread house that they'd been working on for weeks and smashes it.
It's the only thing Grandma wanted for
But,
Christmas.
Of course, the editing of this fucking movie is we see the family carrying it, and then we see the dog running past the doorway, and then we just hear a crash. We don't actually see the incident happen.
I
This
definitely
dog,
was asleep during this part of the movie.
this dog was like so clearly not like a trained acting dog. It was just someone's fucking dog.
No, he was just like, no,
All
because
of them, they were just like,
every scene he was just like completely disinterested. He was just like,
Yeah.
I was like, what a sad looking dog. Like, I mean, he was sweet, but I was like, this poor dog just was like, yeah, I don't know why I'm here.
hey,
like-
I guess I'll sit again.
And like Mario Lopez voicing the dog is like, upset in some scenes or angry or excited or whatever, and the dog's just fucking sitting there with
just
his
like-
dumb look.
Right, like this was no Homeward Bound.
No.
Those animals, you felt that emotion.
Oh my God.
They knew what they were doing.
That movie made me cry.
Oh, I know.
I haven't seen
See,
it.
I like animals.
Okay.
So I cried at the end of Old Yeller, just so you know,
You
So
did.
when I was
Everybody.
a child. Yeah. I mean,
If you
Do you
didn't
remember
for me,
when
that's a
we-
lot because I.
Elizabeth and I we got up really early one morning, I don't know why, really early, and we watched All Dogs Go to Heaven for the first time. And we were sobbing and ran upstairs to Mom and Dad's room and woke them up, and we're like, why did they have to die? And Mom was like, why are you awake? We were like inconsolable.
Oh my God.
So then
remember that happening.
Dean Cain and his partner are back, like scouting out the house again, and he's like, "Oh man, like these decorations are worth a lot. You could tell those wreaths are handmade. They got to go for like $190, $80." Which I just thought was funny because like you don't descend in number when you're emphasizing something's value. Like if you're
Although-
like, they got to be like $80, $90, $100. Okay, sure. They got to be
Right.
like 100, maybe 90, maybe even $80. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
maybe 80 cents.
Yeah.
That guy, though, did make me laugh a couple of times.
When he was farting, and you could smell it through the door.
Let's not jump ahead.
Also, when he walked up the steps, and then he just like fell back and slid down the steps. It was like seamless.
my
I was
God.
like, this guy has done this before.
So Gary Valentine puts up cookies and milk on the mantle, and then they leave to go to Grandma's.
Why are you doing that when you have a mouse problem? Stop leaving food all
That's
over
why they
there.
have the
What
mouse
was the
problem.
deal? So when was this? The timeline was
no
very
idea.
difficult to figure out.
Yeah.
They
It
were
all
going,
happened during the day.
they were going to
Yeah.
Grandma's house on Christmas Eve day. Mm-hmm. And they were going to be there all day.
They were
And-
supposed to spend the night,
Yes.
but then they
why-
decided not to.
But when they were
And they
but why
left
with all
her
the kids?
sleeping on the couch. When they
Right, but she
decided to
woke up
leave.
and she was like, I'm coming.
Could you imagine just being
Yeah.
like, well, she's asleep. Let's get out of here and go to our own Christmas.
But she woke up 1 second later in the same scene.
1 second later, yeah.
But we're jumping ahead.
We're jumping ahead, guys. Yeah, so he puts up this fucking milk and cookies as they're leaving the house for like, I don't know, 36 hours. And of course the dog like knocks them over and eats them. And so they leave. The burglars come up on the porch. One of them, the goofy one, has anxiety about dogs, hates them. But Dean Cain's like, don't worry. There's been no barking. I've been listening all week. And so they start to pick the lock. Again, in the middle of the afternoon.
middle of the
This time it
afternoon.
really is actual burglars. In the middle of the day, bright and sunny. And Zeus turns on a CD of dogs barking that the kids were using to help him learn to bark. And scares the guy off.
You filthy animal. I mean, that's what that reminds me of.
Oh, I'm telling you, they fucking watched Home Alone. And every like 10 minutes they would look up and be like, all right, what's going on in this scene? All right, he presses play. All right, the dog is going to do
It
this.
was like the dog Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, wait, did you get to the ornaments?
I was just
No,
thinking
not
that.
yet.
Okay.
No, they didn't break.
I think that's when I woke up again.
So we see Cat Lady watching from her house across the street. And
Cat Lady, this is when you call the police because you know that they don't live there.
so Zeus breaks out of the house to go get help and apparently runs into a branch and knocks himself out as he's just like trotting down the sidewalk. Were you sleeping during this too?
I missed that part.
Damn, I'm so used to
You can miss this part?
I don't
Wait,
for him.
I missed this part too. Zeus knocked himself out?
Zeus breaks out of the house and starts walking down the sidewalk and bumps into a branch and knocks himself out. That's when the Cat Lady goes out and picks him up and brings him to her house.
Oh, to give him the monologue
But
about
is
how
that-
she's not that bad?
Is that before or
Yes.
after he starts tossing ornaments down?
Before.
It's before?
Yes, it's before.
Okay.
Trust me. So we don't actually see him walking into the branch, but the lady tells us that he walked into a branch and knocked himself out.
Oh, this is why I don't remember it. 'Cause I'm thinking
yeah.
I'm going to get
Because
a
this
visual.
dog is
Just
not a
picturing
fucking
Zeus
actor.
being like, falling over.
And so, yeah, she gives this big monologue. Don't listen to those kids, blah, blah, blah. Gets real deep as she serves him, like, actual stew. You know, I notice you don't bark. You must be afraid of something. You know, fear is a strange thing. And she goes into this, like, story about her and her dog. And Zeus reveals to us, like, he doesn't bark because he blew this 5-year investigation as a police dog by barking too much. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, if I found a dog that didn't bark, I'd be like, you're the most perfect dog.
I know. Me too. I'd be like,
I'm
yes,
keeping
now
you
I have a
forever.
dog.
Right.
now the burglars return.
Wait, they left and then they came back?
They left to go figure out what to do about this dog because the one guy was too anxious.
We better leave the premises to figure this out, and then we'll come back later. Like
When it's still light
It's
out.
like the dog just left. Go in. Yeah.
And so as they go up to the porch, Zeus is on the balcony on the second floor and starts dropping ornaments onto their head.
Where you just see his paw being shoved by someone else.
Yeah, clearly.
A regular ornament, and they're like, oh, like it wasn't a brick.
No.
Right.
And Dean Cain must have had it in his contract, like, I don't want anything to actually hit me because, like, the edits were so fucking terrible. We just, like, see the ornaments falling and then Dean Cain's like, like, putting his hand up.
They didn't. The ornaments
nothing
didn't even
can touch
break.
this moneymaker.
Yeah. Then the
Right.
dog dumps, like, a very small amount of flour on them for some reason. Like,
And they're like,
because the producer saw that in Home Alone but didn't see the rest of that scene. So he's like, I guess throw flour on him. Then they enter through the basement. The dog drops 2 fake bowling balls down the stairs at Dean Cain, and he, like, very awkwardly, like, falls over and pretends like one hit him. They eventually get a muzzle. This was the big plan. They had to leave to go get a muzzle.
For a dog that doesn't bark.
Because the last house they robbed was owned by a veterinarian, and for some reason he stole a muzzle.
oh my
Oh,
god.
no. I'm sorry. He stole the trank gun.
Yeah, the
He stole the trank gun.
Oh, okay. They explained that plot point.
They did, yes.
Oh my god.
As if anyone cares. And so they get a muzzle and they put it over Zeus because, again, the dog is literally just sitting there motionless during all these scenes. They also find his Canine Award plaque, which, as we discussed,
How the hell would they have it?
I'm just picturing Zeus with
Like with his little like
this like you know, like hobos have like the stick with the bandana.
Zeus is carrying it in his mouth.
Turning myself in.
I know, that's exactly what I'm thinking. And I'm like, I don't want to
This
say
is
the
all-
word
these are all my
hobo.
worldly
I don't know if we're allowed to say
possessions.
that anymore.
I would never sell my plaque. So these two guys are the slowest moving, worst burglars that have ever existed. They're in the house for like
Eat a sandwich.
Forever, as long as this movie went on.
the cops that are on patrol for some reason come and knock on this door, just randomly come and knock on a front door, and you know, Anxiety Bandit starts farting like crazy because he farts when he's nervous, and it burns the cop's nose so bad that they have to leave on the other side of a wooden front door.
And like Dean Cain is not affected by the smell of this fart at all.
Right.
And the cops are through the door.
So then there is a
I must have lost 15 minutes of the movie because
painfully long scene of the family driving back home with the grandma to get Zeus.
painfully
Oh
long.
my gosh.
And the dad says, like, oh, you know, at first he's like, let's just leave her here. It'll only be a few hours. So like they're hours away, which means the bandits are in the house for so fucking long.
Right.
They are touching everything in the house. They're playing pool. They're eating.
Yeah, they're doing all sorts of things.
Zeus finally gets himself untied and gets the muzzle off. And then the culmination of the main plot point, he finally barks. It's
He's a barking machine.
Oh yeah, he's barking up a storm. And Dopey Bandit sprays himself in the eyes with pepper spray. And then Dean Cain shoots his partner with the trank gun by accident.
Right
in the middle of the forehead.
Yeah, in the forehead.
Yeah, ouch.
And then
It
as
wouldn't
he's
have even gone in.
oh my god, this next part's so good. As Dean Cain is trying to wake his partner up, Zeus goes to the upstairs railing and unties a rope, which apparently was holding the chandelier in place.
Yeah. Oh yes, because
that's right.
In the beginning, she says, "George, I really don't think that rope is good. Is really safe to hold that chandelier up." He's like, "Ah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine."
Oh my god.
It's even so like, of course, that's like very stupid. Like you would never fucking hang a chandelier like that. But it's even more incredible to me that they thought they needed to establish that, like, oh, this is going to be like smart. Like we're going to set this up beforehand, early on, and then Zeus is going to untie it.
It's funny because the rest of the movie was so like actually non-violent and boring, and then suddenly like boom, a chandelier dropped on your head.
That's like the paint can swinging off the
Exactly.
Yeah.
the paint can roll on.
So then the cops show up because the neighbor did end up calling them, and you know
Finally.
they just like rush through the door of this house. The family shows up at the same time. This is all still broad daylight. So
Right.
Broad daylight.
I don't know what time this happened, but it's still daylight.
Yeah.
They had no lighting to shoot at night.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they had no time. The family had to get back for dinner.
Yeah. So the burglars get arrested. Of course, now the mom says they can keep the dog, and they run into the cat lady who apparently knows the grandma because they used to go to the same singles bar together, even though they're like hours away from each other.
to sing karaoke.
And sing karaoke
To sing
together.
karaoke.
And win first place.
Yep.
That was such a weird. Like there was no.
They
Reason
didn't
they
need
had
to
to
know
know
each
each
other.
Yeah, they didn't need
No.
to know each other.
No.
Well, maybe
Nope.
maybe because they were inviting her in, so they were like, "Well, let's make it like somebody knows her. We've just invited this like person everyone thinks is crazy."
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, because they could never be extending a simple kindness.
Right. Well, we were wrong about you.
Right, but
It was
could
weird.
have worked if they were just like, "Do you want to come in?"
Okay, I don't know why they had to make them know each other.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And then we close with the worst carolers I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
carolers
my
were
God.
bad.
Yeah, they're all
Oh yeah,
they're
they
all
were all
inside.
singing "Merry Christmas." Like it was, "We wish you," and they sang,
yeah.
"We wish you a Merry Christmas," and they didn't sing the verse. They just kept saying, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." They didn't do like "Good tidings we bring." They just
no.
sang it over and over again in all different. Like some people were on like the same note the whole time.
Yeah.
It was not, and it wasn't harmony.
You know, I think that Bill has been approaching this all wrong. You keep saying that like some sleazy producer is like writing all these, ripping off these movies. I think that what happened is all of these actors happen to live in the same development or at least vacation together, like vacation in the same development, right? And one of them has a high school or college aged child who was doing this as a school project. And that's how this happened, because this seems like a kid wrote this. A kid put this together. This wasn't like a lazy producer or writer. This was just a kid. I would have written this
somehow
in
it was-
high school. And like, who cares about
Do you
this?
think
And
it was
everyone
the weird
like,
redheaded kid?
Let's just.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh, which I have in my notes.
The producer.
Hold on. My very last note is son played by Mike Ulsfay. Other podcast guest.
Okay.
But
That's what he looks like.
the reality is that adults made this movie. Adults wrote this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to hear some of the other titles this producer has been involved with?
Oh hell yeah.
Okay.
The Dog Who Saved Easter, The Dog Who Saved Halloween, The Dog Who Saved Valentine's Day.
Well, there's one called Wedding Tale, Tail. But the other ones are called Here Kills the Bride.
Oh my.
Saving My Daughter, A Soldier's Revenge, My Daughter's Psycho Friend.
What?
Sinister Savior, 12 Pups of Christmas, Deviant Love, Anniversary Nightmare, Who's Stalking Me, Dangerous Matrimony, Saving My Baby,
Oh my gosh.
Deadly Lessons, Party Mom, Born and Missing, A Woman Deceived, Cradle Swapping, Christmas with the Andersons.
What is this person's name?
Inspired to Kill.
We should watch Christmas with the Andersons next year.
This.
Merry,
Oh my gosh.
Merry Christmas.
Well, that's another one.
Lucky
I
Dog.
think I have seen that one,
He's got
actually.
this guy has a dog thing.
Well,
That might
it
be
sounds like
creepy.
everything's either like
Yeah.
dog and Christmas related, or it's some like fucked
Some kind
up
of like
weird
sexual
Yeah.
murder.
Yes. Yeah, so that's what we're dealing with. Michael Pfeiffer, you creep.
Oh my god.
I did prepare a game for us. I assume we don't have much else to say about this movie.
I have nothing else.
Unless you do.
I'm looking at all my like post plot notes, and we've covered them all. I did just want to mention that during the credits there were bloopers. In
Oh
quotes.
my God.
Oh,
Yes, yes, I did watch the
Which were
bloopers.
indistinguishable from the actual
In
scene.
which
that's
Stewie farted again.
Oh yeah,
For real.
Well, you know what? I actually had missed the part where he farted, so I'm sorry, guys. I really like didn't
Maggie,
need to be late.
no one's upset with you for falling asleep during this movie. It's fine.
I tried to watch it again last night, and then my internet my wireless wasn't
It's
working.
just as
so-
well your time is worth more.
Well,
I just have to run and grab the paper. So we are going to generate our own plot of a Christmas movie. Okay?
okay.
This was a little bit off-brand. The Dog Who Saves Christmas. There was no romance. Maybe that's...
Yeah, certainly not between the husband and wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly not.
The marriage is dead in the water.
So this really was not like the classic Hallmark Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. So just to get back to that a little bit, I guess we'll start with which one of you wants to go first, and we'll see how much time we have. Because I don't know, Susan, you're gonna go. All right. So take that wheel,
Okay.
move it towards you so that you can spin it, because you're gonna have to spin it a couple times.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and spin the wheel, Susan.
We have a boardwalk style.
We have a boardwalk style spinny wheel.
That was weak.
All right, what number?
You could do better than that.
Oh, it's not
Can
even
we do
on
it
a
again?
number. It's in the middle.
2.
All right. A clumsy female. Go ahead.
Female.
23.
Publisher is unhappy because
I can't believe we're using this wheel for this.
how else would we
One.
play this game? She wasn't given credit for her own idea at work and is generally unappreciated.
$16.
Everything changes when she meets a cute
23.
male family man whose 2 kids are still mourning his recently deceased wife.
Hilarious.
While they're
One.
at a big corporate event.
Oh my gosh.
Through crazy circumstances and with a little help from
20.
her Christmas expert grandma, she soon discovers
19.
that sometimes the Christmas present you wanted isn't the one you needed.
That was awesome.
That was great.
Was it?
That sounds like a real.
It just sounds like a real one.
Real
All right,
one.
Maggie, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure.
All right. And whenever the number's too big and I don't have that many, I just choose the last one.
So is this just like a group of like sort of Mad Libs style?
Yeah.
Did you write them?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
I was
bullshit.
gonna say, that was a lot of time spent preparing for this podcast. 22.
All right. A dedicated female.
Six.
Author is unhappy because
21.
she's being forced to babysit an incredibly disobedient child throughout the holiday season. I'd be unhappy
I'd be
too.
pissed.
Everything changes when she meets a
Eight.
funny. We got cute and funny.
Yeah.
Male
Trait adjectives. 2.
in the same situation she's in, who's going through a nasty breakup.
Two author babysitters.
Two author babysitters. One going through, and he's funny. While they're
One.
at a big corporate event. Spin that again. We need a different one.
Okay. 9.
Both involved in an ice skating catastrophe, leaving them both stuck in the hospital for the entire Christmas weekend. That one's better.
What happened to the kids?
I mean, I don't know. Through crazy circumstances and with a little help from
19.
a nutty couple in the same situation.
Maybe how many couples are in this situation?
She soon discovers
Sometimes the Christmas present that you wanted isn't the way you needed. 1.
how meaningful life can be.
Oh my gosh.
So can you summarize all these later?
All right, so let's see. So for Susan, what was the first word we had for you?
Why?
I was just going to try and say them again, but I don't think I can remember.
Jesus
I should
Christ.
have been highlighting these.
So, I missed most of that because
It's fine.
I was
You could make one up. And
I was looking at other movies that this production company has made, and they made The Dog Who Saved Halloween, which is the entire same cast, including Dean Cain and the other bad guy.
What?
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Someone's got something on someone.
As Mom would say, someone's got pictures of him with a goat and a rope.
Oh my!
I have never heard
Frequently about situations like this.
Oh, except Mario Lopez doesn't voice the dog in that one. Joey Lawrence does.
Oh.
And Mayim Bialik is also in that movie.
Oh.
we need to do some more digging
But-
on this because there has to be
An actual goat.
But everyone else,
Yeah.
else is back, and there's still there's a different creepy neighbor.
Oh my goodness.
So they basically just made the same movie, but just
the cat lady totally should have been on the Halloween one.
yeah.
Duh.
With her white fluffy cat. It's not like
Yeah.
she had 97 cats in that house. She had
Right.
one cat.
But I guess they already made friends with her in the first one, so they kind of have to get rid of her to have someone else be creepy.
I guess.
There's also The Dog Who Saved Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that title.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching that terrible movie.
I'm still sleeping. I'm still tired.
Yeah, I mean, it was really boring.
I might show it to Shannon. She might like it.
She might like it. I mean, that's
Oh,
the thing.
don't show her crap like this. It's not
Has she
good.
seen Home Alone?
Yes, she. But I won't show her this because she did actually love Home Alone, and then she started thinking about how it was about bad guys who were breaking into a house. She doesn't want to watch it. So this one, I thought about it, and then I just remember I thought, no, she won't. But she really is a big fan of the Christmas Chronicles, which she watched this weekend, and then we watched with her last night. And
What's that one?
That is actually that's actually not a bad movie.
Is that the
That's
one with Kurt Russell?
Kurt
Yeah.
Russell?
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
about
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this one was.
I do
I'm
love
sure
Kurt
that's
Russell.
Levels above.
Oh, levels above.
Yes.
It's not a bad. No, that's not a bad movie. It
Yeah.
was actually pretty good. She says it's now her favorite Christmas movie.
Oh, really?
Listeners, if you have a really good, terrible Christmas movie, you got to let us know because we've been struggling to find one.
Yeah.
I mean, this had some funny moments to it.
You did find one.
I mean, we found one, but
Listen, did you ever watch Naughty and Nice? The first one we did?
No, is that the one with
Oh, I still have to watch
the
that.
Duff?
Hillary
Duff?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's grand. It's
All right,
really,
I'll
it's
try
really
that
good.
one.
it's so good. It's so like, good, bad, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a bummer to not be able to find like that magic anymore.
Yeah. We'll keep searching.
Chasing that high.
If you have suggestions for shows for us to watch in the new year, please email us at trialbypilot@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at trialbypilot. And go on to Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Subscribe to the show, leave a review, and tell a friend.
And thank you to the Beats for providing our theme music. And thank you to Susan and to Maggie for joining us again.
Thanks for having us.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Merry
New
Christmas.
Year.
Watching television, watching television. Watching television, watching television.